we are a normal American family doing some not normal things on a not normal piece of property with a not normal group of animals.
Director of Public Relations or a 299
is available only at the
What's up, guys? Welcome to Porter Valley Ranch. Today we are not at Porter Valley Ranch. We are driving to St. Louis, Missouri to pick up some new sheep. When I say we, I really mean me. And when I say sheep, I really mean some Babydoll Southdown Sheep. So why would I drive to St. Louis, Missouri, which is 5 hours away, which means I'm going to be in the car for over 10 hours today? Why would I drive that far to get some sheep? And the answer is, number one, because my wife told me to. And number two, because that's where the sheep are. Whenever you raise rare and exotic breeds of animals, sometimes you have to go great lengths and great distances to get them. So this year we have been to Nebraska to pick up some ibex. We have been to Kansas. We have been to Missouri. We have been to Texas. We've been all over Oklahoma. We go where the animals are that we think we want. Also, for the first time on our farm, we are sending some of our animals other places. So we have a little baby sheep named Pepper that is going to Colorado later this week. We also have two of our other sheep who are going to Dallas, Texas later this week. So it's pretty exciting to start seeing some of our offspring and some of our products, I guess you could say, that are going other places to other families. That means that the process of recouping some of our investments has begun. And that's nice because we have spent a lot of time and a lot of money on the road buying animals all over the United States. So while I'm driving today for 10 hours, I decided I would try something new. We've been on YouTube for about 8 months now. We've had some moderate success. We've had some things that worked really well. We've had some things that didn't work very well, but we are still in what I would consider a discovery phase. So during the discovery phase, we're trying to perfect or improve the quality of our products, whether it's a video, whether it's a podcast, whether it is, Instagram pictures, or whether it's our animals. We're trying to improve what we put out for you guys to consume. So whenever you're watching a video, we hope that you like it. And we hope that if you like it, you let us know. You can comment, you can hit the little thumbs up. And if you don't like it, well, we assume you don't like it if you only watch it for like 30 seconds or a minute and then turn it off. So we check our YouTube analytics and see if people like it or if they don't like it. So if you would do us a favor, go ahead and comment below and give us some honest feedback. If you like it, tell us you like it. If you don't like it, tell us you don't like it. You're not going to hurt our feelings. There's just only one way to know what you want, and that is if you tell us what you want or what you like. If you tell us what you like or what you don't like. Again, we got thick skin. We've owned businesses for a long time. So help us out. Let us know which directions we need to go. All that to say this. Today, I am starting a new thing, a new idea, a new concept called the Road Trip Ramblings PVR podcast. I'm going to drive for 10 hours and I'm going to talk. I'm going to hit a couple different topics and you guys can watch it or listen to it and tell me if you like it or if you don't like it. Maybe you'll learn something new about us. Maybe you'll learn something new about our operation. Or maybe you'll decide that you don't like us at all. Just let me know. Either way. So for our first episode of the Road Trip Rambling PVR podcast, we are going to answer who. We're going to do who, what, when, and why. And today's question is who. Who is Porter Valley Ranch? Or who are the Porter Valley Ranchers? So the answer to that question is Josh and Rachel Porter and their kids, Zeke, Kai, and Jet. So Rachel and I have been married for 16 years, but we started dating a long time before that. We've actually been together as best friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife for 24 going on 25 years. So the majority of our life we have spent together. We've had ups and downs and twists and turns, but no matter what life has thrown at us, we have done most of it together. So Porter Valley Ranch is the next twist in our life, and we are doing it together. And now we have children, so we are doing it with our children and each other. So to understand truly what Porter Valley Ranch is, we have to go backwards a little bit, not a little bit, all the way to the beginning. So I was born in Weatherford, Oklahoma. At 2 years old, I moved to Bartlesville, Oklahoma. My dad was a pastor, so we were in church 3, 4, 5 times a week. We didn't have a lot of family around Bartlesville, but we did have a great network of friends who helped raise and support us as kids. So we grew up in the church, and in our free time, we had some land, we had a small farm, and we raised and showed longhorn cattle. At that time, longhorn cattle were pretty rare. There weren't a lot of them around. So we got in pretty early with those, and we were able to have a lot of success showing those cattle. We also were able to travel around the United States. We didn't have a ton of money growing up. My dad was a pastor, and my mom stayed home and she did woodworking crafts to help support my brother and I. We went to a private school, so a lot of the money that she made doing her crafts went to keep us in a Christian school with a Christian education, which I'm very grateful for. But our extra money and our extra time went into our cattle operation, and our vacations more times than not were based around going to a cow show. So we got to see a lot of the United States by going to cattle shows and showing cattle. My dad also grew up on a farm. His dad, my dad's dad, my grandpa, Roy Porter, was a farmer and rancher his entire life. So he came from a big family, hardworking family that were all involved in agriculture. He did not work for anybody else the majority of his life. He worked for himself, he worked on his farm, he worked the land, and he provided for his family that way. He was a great man of God. He was a great example to my dad, who went on to play football at Baylor University and then become a pastor. And that's kind of the story of my life, of how my agricultural heritage, my Christian heritage, goes way back. So Rachel, on the other hand, she did not grow up in the agricultural world. She was a dancer. She danced all the way through school. She went on to dance at Kilgore College in Kilgore, Texas, which is one of the premier dance teams in the country. If you've seen the Radio City Rockettes, they were before the Rockettes. So they were kind of like the original dance team and drill team in America. It's really hard to get in. It's very prestigious. She went there for 2 years in dance, and then she went on to the University of Oklahoma. We thought that we were out of dance. She thought she was out of dance. So we were in the corporate world. I was doing graphic design. She was doing public relations. We had been married for a couple of months when she got a call from her old dance teacher that they were going to shut down her dance studio that she grew up in, asking if she would be interested in purchasing it and taking it over. She said no, but there was something that kept tugging at my heart, my soul, I guess, that she should do it. Before Rachel and I got married, I was in a rock band, a Christian rock, punk rock band, and we toured. We got to see the United States in a little tour bus. We played shows, we had fun, we lived out our dreams. Music was always something that was a part of me, and I got to live and use the gifts and talents that God gave me on a large scale around the United States. And so I always thought that whatever God gives you as a passion, that you should use. I still play guitar today at church and help lead worship there. But Rachel had danced for her whole life, and then she'd gotten out of dance. So it kind of bugged me, and it kept weighing on me of, she needs to do something with this. So just a few months after we got married, we decided that we were going to leave corporate America, and we were going to go back to her hometown, and we were going to start a small business, and she was going to open up a dance studio. So we moved back to Sapulpa. We started what is now called Ovation Studio and Gym, little one-room studio. We opened the studio up. I was still doing graphic design, and it was going pretty well. She had about 70 students, which was great for the first time, opening the business. But about 2 months in, I started thinking that there was something bigger. I've always been a dreamer. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always thought that there was going to be something else that we could do. Not discontented, just a dreamer. I guess that's the nicest way to say it. So I started thinking, hey, this studio could really turn into something awesome. And I was driving one day by our church, First Baptist Church in Sepulpa, and there was a building just down the street that was really run down, and they were having some sort of a sale, like a rummage sale. It had been a thrift store at one point. So I walked in, and there was a sign on a pole that said, building $50,000. Now, this is a 9,000 square foot building in the middle of downtown Sepulpa, just off of historic Route 66. And I thought, man, that would be pretty sweet if we could get that. So I talked to the lady who owned the building, asked her if she was serious, and she said she was. So we talked a little bit. I went and got Rachel. We walked into the building, and Rachel immediately started crying. She was crying. I asked what was wrong, and she said, you're going to want to do this. And I said, well, yeah, why are you not excited? Little did I know that renovating a 100-year-old 9,000 square foot building was a monumental task. It took every minute of spare time we had, every ounce of energy that we had. It took friends and family pitching in. It took a bank miraculously giving us some money to do the building. And when the smoke cleared, literally, smoke and dust and debris, we had a awesome, fully restored building that was built in 1917 that we were going to call the home of our business. So we expanded that business. A couple years later, we bought another building next door. We expanded into gymnastics and tumbling. And then a couple years later, we bought another little place, and then we had a little pro shop. So our business just kept growing. Our sphere of influence kept expanding, and we loved our life. Kids started coming around. We had Zeke first. He's now 12. Then Kai, who's now 9. Then Jet, who is now 6. And right before Jet was born, our business was doing pretty well. We had an awesome house, but we realized that we were going to need a little bit bigger space. We were going to need another bedroom. So we toyed with the idea of adding on. We toyed with the idea of moving. And what we decided we needed, since we were going to have 3 sons, was some land. I grew up with land, dirt to play in, creeks to fish in, things like that. So we started talking, and we thought, you know what? What we really need is a house like our former youth minister had. It was really close to town, but it had a lot of land that we could go play on. So we made a few phone calls, and it turns out that that house was vacant, and the people who had purchased that house were no longer living in town. And the stars aligned. We were able to sell our house and move into that house 3 days before Rachel had Jet. It was a very stressful process, which we will talk about at a later time because it's a long story with a lot of emotions. But bottom line was, God opened the door for us to move into a property that had 17 acres and a big enough house for us to expand our family, and that is what we now call Porter Valley Ranch. So if you asked who Rachel and Josh Porter are today, I would say that we are people who love to give. We don't have the most money in the world. We don't have the most resources or the most time. We don't have the coolest house or anything like that. But what we have, we love to give away. So we spend a lot of our time volunteering. We volunteer at church. We volunteer in our community. We volunteer for a global organization called Place of Refuge Global, where we have 24 orphans living in Ivory Coast, West Africa. We love to give. Anything that we have, we feel like was given to us by God, and being the best steward of what we have means using it for His glory, using it for others' enjoyment. So we love to give ourselves away. We love to give our time away. We love to help people, and that's kind of what led us to this YouTube journey. When we started our farm, which we're going to talk about on the next podcast, we knew that it wasn't just for us. We knew that God had put this on our heart for a reason. And one of the reasons was so that we could share it with others. Obviously, we would love for you all to come hang out at our farm, but that's probably not feasible, especially during COVID. So one way that we can share our farm and our life and our experiences and our journey is through YouTube. So that's what we're doing here at Porter Valley Ranch. Who we are is we are a normal American family doing some not normal things on a not normal piece of property with a not normal group of animals, but hopefully we are learning lessons and exploring in a way that others can watch and can learn from our journey, or can just enjoy it, kind of go along for the ride, be a fly on the wall, so to speak, and watch the process of us turning a home into a homestead and turning a family hobby into a family business. So that's what we're trying to do. The next episode we're going to talk about is, what are we doing? That's a question that we get a lot and we ask a lot. So I hope to see you guys on the next episode of Porter Valley Ranch Podcast Road Trip Ramblings with Josh Porter, yours truly. If you like it, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. If there's something you would like for me to talk about on my next road trip, let me know, because it's just a matter of time before Rachel sends me on another road trip to go pick up some animals somewhere else in the world.